The following segments are pre-recorded and sponsored by Longworth Productions.
Staying involved on Triad Today. Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Triad Today, coming to you again from the beautiful Senior Botanical Garden in Kernersville. I say it's a special program because my buddy Keith Graberry and I are going to be talking with some very special individuals over the next half hour, each who has accomplished so much in their lives and each who has done so much for other people and had impact on other people's lives. We'll get to them in a moment, but we start out, of course, I also want to thank the good folks at the Union Baptist Church for helping us coordinate this, and especially Ground Game Innovation for helping us make this show. And now to Keith, who is founder of Helping Hands Consultant, my buddy of many decades. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing fine. Now, I talked about that over the next half hour, we're going to talk about staying engaged. There was a big presidential election back in November. Some people were displeased, other people were pleased, but both sides are saying, well, I'm glad that's over. You know, there's nothing else to do for 4 more years.
Wrong. There's a lot to do. There's a midterm election. As you can see, there's a lot of issues we're facing, not only nationwide, but in our state. Education issues, the stock market is dropping, people are losing their jobs. There's a lot of things that are going on now that we need to be aware of, and I think people need to look at those things and decide what they want to do for the next 2 years, not the next 4 years.
Yeah, and of course, in some areas, people watching this, there's going to be municipal elections, and there'll be a mayoral race or something popping up, and what. So people need to stay informed, don't they?
Well, all elections are local. You know, all politics are local. And so when you have leaders like Reverend Mack, who's doing a great job in Winston-Salem, but just nationally and internationally in spreading the word about issues that are important to you. Those are the things that you need to know about. Those are the people who you need to listen to, people who are local leaders but have a national stage. And I think it's really important that everyone stay local and really get involved in the local politics, state races, local races, mayor races, city council races as well.
As I mentioned, Keith and I are going to be speaking with 3 very special folks over the next few minutes or so, and they are Bishop Walter Mack, Vicki Rose, and Danny Brown. Say a little bit about each of them quickly.
Well, Vicki Rose has an amazing story. I mean, her dad boxed with Muhammad Ali in the Olympics and was tragically murdered in a senseless death. And her depression that she had to deal with for 25 years, and coming out of that, that's a story that everyone needs to hear.
And she's been sharing that with people.
Yes, exactly. And so she has a book, and I think everyone needs to read that book.
And Bishop Walter Mack.
I can't say enough about that guy. I mean, he is what leaders are supposed to be about. Someone who deals in a religious manner, someone who deals with the community. I mean, from Little League football to helping people who got out of incarceration. This man is an absolute leader in the community, and we need more of them.
And Danny Brown.
That's my guy. He's my fraternity brother, but Danny is a businessman extraordinaire. Danny is someone who really gets involved in the community and also works with businesses all throughout this community. And he's someone that young people need to pattern after. Everyone talks about athletes, but Danny Brown is a true businessman.
Absolutely, and we're going to meet all 3 of them in just a minute. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You know, it's hard to believe the Safe Sober program has been going strong for over 30 years.
And over 600,000 students have made the pledge to stay safe and sober on prom night. You know, Griff, it's had a huge impact on our community.
Yeah, you're right, David. And now we're making sure the message continues year-round.
So everyone can join us in supporting our students.
Learn more and take the pledge at safesober.com, sponsored by Daggett Schuler.
Now boarding zone 3.
Back now in this special edition of Triad Today, as we focus on several individuals who've done so much in their lives and done a lot to impact the lives of others. And speaking of that, we have a special guest joining Keith. Keith's special guest is Bishop Walter Mack Jr., pastor of Union Baptist Church in Winston-Salem. Good to see you, sir.
Man, good to be here. God bless you.
Well, I appreciate that. Now, tell us a little about your background, where you grew up, what your parents did, whatever, just briefly.
Yes, I am the son of the late Dr. Sir Walter Mack, Sr., and my mother is Frances Mack. Both are deceased now. Grew up in Winston-Salem. My father was a pastor and went to the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools.
Yeah.
Graduated from there, went to Elon, then Duke Divinity, and then United Theological Seminary. Glad to be a pastor.
So you and I are both Winston-Salem boys. What high school did you go to?
I went to North Forsyth.
Okay. All right. I know exactly.
What about yourself, man?
Well, I go to Reynolds, so
Okay.
I was afraid if I said that, you would leave.
No.
Now, obviously, your father was a role model for you, in his position. But what made you personally want to go into a position of being a pastor?
Yes, well, I had a conviction of being called into ministry, and it stems back to my upbringing, to nurture community, to be a part of transforming lives and systems. And so after having a personal experience with God, I found myself in ministry and glad that I did accept that call and that challenge.
Absolutely. I know Keith is interested to talk a little bit about community service. Keith.
Well, I've known Mac for a long time from my Urban League days. And Mac, you are always about community service. Tell the people about some of the things that you're doing at the church that's kind of revolutionized how churches are involved in the community.
Yes, well, you've been a tremendous role model for us in terms of community transformation. But at the ministry, we believe that we must be where people are. And so some of the programs that we're doing right now is a program where we're taking in children on Sunday mornings. We're not just having Sunday school, but we're doing school on Sunday. Because many of the kids are lacking after COVID with their reading scores, their ability to perform in the classroom. So we actually have members, teachers, principals who are volunteer fraternities and sororities who are coming in to work with young people on Sunday morning and during the week to make sure that their grades and they're performing as they should. The other piece that I really like is the Corner to Corner program, where we've been doing it over 20 years now. Right. And where we actually go and meet with people who are living the street life. Some of them are drug dealers, some of them have participated in prostitution throughout the years. But what we found is that they have gifts, they have talents. So we bring them in and we talk to them about their future, their goals, and how they can turn their life around. And then after that, we walk with them. We walk with them we have a young lady who just got hired at the job, and she's now gainfully employed and doing very well. Those kind of programs, I think, are very necessary now, considering that COVID isolated so many people.
That's right.
And so we're trying to make sure that people stay engaged and so that we can continue to transform the community. So those are just two of the pieces.
Fantastic outreach, and we're going to hold you over for a roundtable segment in just a little bit, so stay with us a little bit. But we'll be back right after this.
Banking is like going for a swim. You don't need all the complicated stuff, but you don't want to feel exposed either. At Truliant, we give you just what you need, so you can manage your money on the go or stop by a branch whenever you need to. It's all about having options, while also keeping life simple with low rates, free financial advice, and friendly faces. So check out Truliant. We have just what you need.
Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you that Triad Today also airs on GTN Spectrum Channel 13 and streams on WFMY Plus, free on Roku and Amazon Fire. Back now on this special edition of Triad Today, as we talk to folks who have made a real difference in staying engaged, helping people, helping us grow in many ways. And we have a very special guest with us now. Of course, our good buddy Keith Granberry, who's been with us throughout the program, is with us. But Keith's special guest is Vicki Rose. She's the author of something called The Soul's Journey. And you're seeing that on screen probably right now, and we'll tell you more about that later on. And welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jim and Keith.
Vicki, where were you born and what were your interests growing up?
I was born native of Cincinnati, Ohio, raised in a two-parent home, only two daughters, my sister and I. And we're from a family of deep roots, family reunions, loved sports, dancing, singing, and really staying close to the community.
Is it true that you used to play like you were a school teacher?
I did. I played school every day. Coming home, my parents were working parents, and I played school, and I played every role you can imagine in the school, including the bad kid.
Wow. I played doctor with some people in the neighborhood, but that's a whole nother, we don't want to get into that.
They're dead now.
Yeah. Keith?
Vicki, a lot of folks might not know that your dad was an Olympian. What was his specialty, and tell us a little bit about the person that was on his team.
My father was a boxer, and he worked really, really hard at that, and he was on the 1960s Golden Gloves Olympic team.
I know where you go with this.
With Cassius Clay, also known as Muhammad Ali, and I brought the actual team picture with autographs.
Wow. We'll get a close-up of that in just a minute. I'm just going to hold it right here. Let me get. Wow, so they're all in there from that 60 team.
And I'll point out my dad, and then I'll show you where Cassius Clay is also.
Okay, we'll do that in just a second. Okay. Hey, now what is the book about?
The book, The Soul's Journey, is about transforming your life from the pits of grief and to a place of renewal and purpose and joy. And it has a framework built within it that really allows those who grieve to work through the process.
You lost your dad under what circumstances, and was that the catalyst for this?
Yes, the book definitely was the catalyst for the renewal piece. And just as a disclaimer, I want to acknowledge my mother, dear mother, she's still here with us, and my sister and my son for giving me the permission and space to live forward, okay? Dad, he was a community leader. He was a civil rights activist. He put on the annual fireworks display and gave out turkeys to the firefighters each year. And he was a man of good deeds. And the night that we received the knock on the door, my father ended up going across the street. He was told that the neighbor needed his help.
And that's when
that is when he then was in a triple homicide, which ended up being a capital punishment case. Man,
so sorry. So the book is helping us learn how to grieve. I lost both my parents, and so the book means a lot to me too. I know that Keith would like to ask you about the message too, because we've all lost people close to us. Keith, I didn't mean to step on your thing there.
Well, what lessons did your dad teach you that help you carry on today? What are some of the things that he taught you that help you today?
My dad taught me a lot. He taught me most to always follow my dreams and never let anyone stop me from that. He taught me resilience. He taught me a strong faith in God, and he taught me to be mentally strong through it all.
I know I had a particularly tough time adjusting to my mom's passing. Dad too, but really with Mom. Very quickly, before time runs out, just give us a quick tip, a general tip of grieving.
You're not alone. I think the best thing for us all to know is we're not alone, and grieving is forever.
Exactly.
It's forever. It's not something that we don't learn that in school.
Yeah.
It's forever.
And people come up to you at a funeral and say, "Oh, your time will pass." And no.
Yeah, I was told that.
Yeah, up on screen, The Soul's Journey. You can see the book cover. I think we have the book cover there. How to Process Grief, Live with Purpose, Accept the Loss of a Loved One. You can get it on Amazon and many other places. Vicki Rose, thanks for being a special guest.
Thank you, Keith.
We'll be right back after this.
The world's brightest are Fulbrights, Goldwaters, McNairs, and Spartans. Prestigious doesn't have to be expensive.
And we know you will make a difference wherever you go.
UNCG, Find your way here.
Are you looking to jumpstart your future in the fast-paced, rapidly growing food and hospitality industry? In Second Harvest Food Bank's Providence Culinary and Hospitality programs, you will have the opportunity to do just that. From baking to barista training, an exciting future awaits you. Our programs have helped hundreds of individuals just like you excel in the workplace. There's no reason to wait to turn your passion for food and service into an exciting career. Check out the upcoming class schedule on our website at providencews.org/learn.
Back now on this special edition of Triad Today, as we salute outstanding individuals who have made quite an impact in their area. Keith Granberry and I are now joined by special guest Danny Brown, owner of United Maintenance Group. Good to see you, Danny.
Good to see you, sir.
First, very quickly, tell us about your background, where you grew up, and what your parents did.
My name is Danny Brown. Again, I grew up in Bladen County. My parents are the late Mr. and Mrs. Theodis Brown. Both were entrepreneurs growing up, along with my grandmother. But I ended up in Greensboro by the late Lieutenant Governor Jimmy Green.
All right. Keith, I know you're interested in Danny's company, too.
Yeah, well, Danny, you have a company called UMG and United Maintenance Group. Tell us a little bit about that and how you got it started.
It actually started in college. It was a project. One of my professors said we had to do a community project, so I did it, and it just took off from there. She believed in it, and so I said, well, if she believes in it, I can make it happen. And so it started as a college project for me.
Well, did you face any particular obstacles or challenges in trying to get it off the ground? Or?
Yes, sir, I did, like most businesses. Like I said, I grew up in the eastern part of the state. I didn't have any family here when I came to school. So I didn't have that mentor that I needed that would be right here with me to guide me. So it was a little bit touchy in the beginning, but as most people that grew up in the country were resilient. So with my dad's blessing and my mom's blessing, I was able to push through and start off small, and then it developed and the city noticed.
You mentioned mentoring, and that leads me to think about, of course, Keith in his former role as heading up the Urban League did a lot to help kids, at-risk kids and youth, and get them ready for life. And I know, Keith, you're interested in some of the things Danny's done with youth and scholarship.
Danny is a fraternity brother, and he's heavily involved in the community, not only from a business standpoint, but a community standpoint and scholarships. And Danny, tell us a little bit about some of the things you're doing in the community.
Right now, I partnered with Summit on a couple of projects to where we started a contractors college, to where we brought in students from Dudley High School, and we got them interested in the construction trades. We had a few students in HVAC, we had a few in plumbing, we had a few in general trades, and then we had one particular kid that wanted to study project management. So we involved him in the team on the front end so he could see that the project developed in the pre-con stage all the way up through the construction end of it. So that's basically the end of the project. So he got to see the build out part of it. With youth, we also have in our fraternity, we got a young group called the Omega Lamplighters, to where we involve them in all aspects of life. We mentor them. Pretty much we take our life experiences and we pour into these kids.
Right. And you've been doing this kind of thing for how long?
I came to Greensboro when I was 17. I'm 59 now.
Right. So Keith is 89. I don't know if you
know. 149, actually.
That means a lot to you.
Grew up with Moses.
It means a lot to you, doesn't it, Keith, to have somebody working with youth and getting people.
It does. There. I mean, this special means a lot to me. Him and Reverend Mack and Rose, I mean, you just really can't get three people who really make an impact on the community like they have, and Danny is that person. He doesn't just talk it, he lives it.
Yeah, well, who told you? I mean, where did you get that feeling that you needed to give back to the community? Because, you could spend your time doing other things. Was that something that was taught to you by your parents or just ingrained in you, or what?
I think it's both. It started with my grandmother. My grandmother was the first entrepreneur that I actually knew. She owned a store in the community that I grew up with. And so my grandmother at a young age, she would give me the key to the store and tell me to go open the store. And as a kid, I thought she was giving me the key just to clean up. So I would go and clean up, and then we would start having customers come in. And so she was like, well, you know how to operate the register. So that's how it started at a young age. I was actually operating a register and helping clients when I was 5 and 6 years old.
Yeah, quite a role model, role model. Now you're going to hang around in the show for the roundtable, you and Bishop Mack, and we'll get to you in just a second.
All right.
All right, we'll be right back after this. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you to catch my column Longworth at Large and Yes Weekly every week. It's available throughout the Triad, or you can go online, yesweekly.com.
Spartans are the teachers, artists, nurses, scientists, and leaders who build our communities.
Back now on this special edition of Triad Today, as we salute folks who have made such a difference in the lives of others as they achieve so many things in their own lives. And Keith and I, of course, we brought back our good friends, Danny Brown and Bishop Walter Mack, just for a general discussion to wrap things up here for a few seconds. Just in a few seconds, each of you, Danny and Bishop Mack, why has it been so important for you to stay engaged with the community, especially the young people, and get them prepared for life?
Yes, well, all of us are sitting here because somebody poured into us. And I believe that it's so important that we mentor, that we disciple. You know, Jesus says, go make disciples. Disciples are not born, they're made. People that we want to follow behind us and pick up the baton, we have to actually show them the way. So I think it's very important that we stay involved and stay engaged to show them and be an example of what they should be as they move into their future.
Danny, same question.
With me, it's pretty much similar, but I add a little bit of a special touch to it. I believe that the service that we pay is the rent that's due. And a lot of people don't look at it that way, but with me, I think that if people see the example, it's easier to follow.
Keith, I don't want to get anybody in trouble in politics, but I know you do a lot in voter education and trying to help people understand things. We're in a difficult period now. A lot of cutbacks, federal and other things, programs cut back. Do you want to ask these gentlemen how they're going to deal with this in the lives they lead in helping people?
Well, I think the question is, from a diversity standpoint, why do you guys believe that diversity is so important, not only to the workplace, but in churches and various other places? Because now it seems like that's something that's under attack. And what do you guys think about that?
You know, well, I'm very grateful for diversity. And I don't think that any federal government or any local government can really legislate that desire in your heart to be diverse, to make sure that people are included. I believe that it's very important that we remain inclusive in our own local way. For an example, one of the programs that we are looking at doing now is there are 800 young people who have aged out of the foster care program in the state of North Carolina. So we are now meeting with families to pick up between the age of 18 and 25 and include those people in our families. So, you know, we have to become more creative when those obstacles are put there. We just have to be more creative in terms of what we decide to do to make things better where we are. So yes, there's an attack on that, but I believe that we can be diverse. We can make sure equality is established where we are, and inclusivity is very important today.
You want to add to that?
Yes, with me, it's similar, but I think that with diversity, there's a saying here, one Gifford, one Greensboro. In order to have one Gifford, one Greensboro, you have to have diversity, because every person in this county is unique, and that uniqueness makes the county. And if you try to take something out of it, it's like making a pound cake. One ingredient is missing, that cake either gonna be too soft or it's going to fall.
Right.
And so that's how I look at diversity. Everybody counts, so you have to include the people that's in the count.
Both of you coming at this a little bit different perspective, one in the ministry, one in business. From a business standpoint, why is it important if a businessman's watching right now or businesswoman? Well, I'm busy, Danny. I've got things on my mind. I can't just give a lot of volunteer time. What do you say to them?
I say that people make time for the things that are important to them. And with me, I'm busy. People ask me all the time, how do you do it? And I say, the passion is the passion. It's something that I want to do. And the things that you want to do, you're going to make time regardless.
Right.
This weekend, I'll give you a prime example. We was at the SoCon tournament in Asheville, my wife and I. We drove from Asheville back to Greensboro every day because I had a meeting that afternoon to do some other stuff with some kids.
You made that drive every day?
Every day, from Thursday, Friday. I skipped Saturday because I had to drive to the coast to a funeral. Came back Saturday evening, drove right back to Asheville.
You make me tired just listening to that.
You know, it's the passion that you do.
Right. You agree with that, right?
Yeah, so from the church perspective, when we talk about missions, we're talking about people who go and people who send. So everybody can't go to a third world country to do mission, but people can actually help support with prayer, with the resources, etc. With nonprofits now being hit because of what's happening around us, I'm going to urge people to still support nonprofit organizations that's actually doing good things in the community, along with many churches.
They need our help. Keith, I know you sent me an email one day and said we want to make sure people understand that where they can get some books.
Yeah, but I mean, Reverend Mack and Bishop Mack has been writing a lot of books. I want you to talk a little bit about the books, some of the books that you think are important for the viewers.
We have about 40 seconds.
Yes, sir.
About one of the books.
So the book that's really doing very well now is called Who Stole Sunday Morning? And it was written out of this whole thing of so many competing factors with Sunday morning now, with people shopping and recreational programs, etc. So what we found is that as people are out of church, corporately, crime is up. When people come back in church, crime goes down.
Interesting correlation.
Yeah, and so we're just trying to get people back in so that we can make our community better.
And can people find some of your books on Amazon?
Oh, yes, SirWalterMack.com. SirWalterMack.com.
I want to thank, of course, our very special guests, Vicki Rose and Danny and Bishop Mack, and just the contributions they've made to folks in their community. My good buddy Keith Granberry, who helped put all this together. The folks at Ground Game Innovation for helping to support this with the cooperation of Union Baptist Church. And I'm just so fortunate. Danny Brown, thanks for being here.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Walter Mack.
Thank you.
My buddy Keith Granberry. We'll see you next week.